Have you ever wondered why some people seem to attract money effortlessly while others struggle no matter how hard they work? What if I told you that the difference might come down to what you whisper in the darkness at a very specific hour when the world is silent? In the early 1920s, during one of the darkest periods of her life, Florence Scovel Shinn made a discovery that would transform not only her financial reality, but also the lives of thousands who would later follow her teachings. It happened at 3 a.m., a time when most of the world lies dormant, when the veil between what we can see and what remains hidden grows thin. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our future videos. Has this ever happened to you? You wake up suddenly in the middle of the night with a clarity of mind that feels almost supernatural? For Florence, this wasn't just a random occurrence. It was a divine appointment with abundance. What she discovered wasn't another feel-good affirmation or desperate prayer for financial help. It was something far more powerful, a decree spoken with absolute spiritual authority that seemed to magnetize money from unexpected sources, creating what she called avalanches of abundance. The timing wasn't coincidental. At 3 a.m., when your conscious mind rests and your defenses are lowered, the words you speak penetrate directly into your subconscious, the fertile soil where all manifestation begins. In this sacred hour, Florence found that certain phrases spoken with unwavering conviction acted like cosmic keys, unlocking financial doors that previously seemed bolted shut. Stay with me until the end of this video because what you're about to discover might completely transform your relationship with money forever. This isn't about wishful thinking or magical shortcuts. It's about understanding the precise vibrational frequency that money responds to and how to align your words with that frequency at the exact moment when they carry the most power. What makes Florence's approach different from the countless manifestation techniques floating around today? While most methods focus on begging or pleading from a place of lack, Florence taught something revolutionary, speaking with the authority of someone who already possesses abundance in the spiritual realm and is simply claiming it in the material world. Imagine having the ability to speak words in the darkness that the universe cannot help but respond to. Imagine waking up to find opportunities, solutions, and resources appearing in your life as if by divine orchestration. What would change for you if financial worry became a thing of the past? The elites of spiritual teachings have kept this knowledge guarded, but today, I'm going to reveal exactly what. Florence discovered the precise decree that changed everything and how you can use it to potentially transform your financial reality starting tonight. If these ancient abundance secrets have resonated with you, hit subscribe to join our community of conscious manifestors. I share powerful techniques like Florence's 3 a.m. decree that the spiritual elite have kept hidden for centuries. You see, most people have fundamentally misunderstood what money truly is. It's not just pieces of paper or metal coins passed from hand to hand. It's not some finite resource that only a privileged few can access. In its purest form, money is crystallized energy, a vibration that responds to those who understand how to call it forth with absolute clarity and conviction. This revelation transforms our entire approach to abundance. Think about it. When most people focus on money, they do it from a place of emptiness. I need more. I don't have enough. Bills are piling up. Each of these statements, though seemingly innocent, actually reinforces the very lack they're trying to overcome. It's like digging a deeper hole while claiming you want to climb out. What makes Florence's discovery so revolutionary is the timing. At 3 a.m., a profound shift occurs in human consciousness. Science now confirms what the ancients have always known. During these pre-dawn hours, the analytical, judgmental conscious mind retreats into silence. The mental barriers and doubts that normally filter our thoughts dissolve, creating a direct pathway to the subconscious mind. This is where the true magic happens. In this receptive state, words spoken with conviction aren't merely hopes or wishes. They become commands imprinted directly into the operating system of your reality. What you decree at this hour bypasses the usual resistance and becomes law in your experience. The veil between thought and manifestation grows extraordinarily thin. Florence's journey reveals the hidden mechanics behind manifestation. Her decree, though deceptively simple in appearance, carried the full weight of universal law. Within days of her first 3 a.m. practice, she witnessed what can only be described as orchestrated synchronicities, unexpected opportunities appearing from nowhere, forgotten debts suddenly repaid, creative projects finding their audience, and even inheritances materializing from distant relatives. The transformation wasn't random chance or lucky coincidence. It was the precise, predictable result of aligning her vibration with the frequency of abundance through carefully chosen words at the most potent hour. Like a master locksmith who finally discovers the exact tumbler combination to open a vault, Florence had found the perfect alignment of timing, language, and consciousness. What's particularly fascinating about this approach is how it completely bypasses the conventional mindset of struggle and effort. We've been conditioned to believe that financial abundance requires decades of grueling work, sacrifice, and suffering. Yet Florence's method reveals an entirely different pathway, one based on energetic alignment rather than exhausting effort. Now, I want to go even deeper into the profound shift in identity that occurs when you begin this practice. The decree isn't just about attracting external resources. It fundamentally alters how you perceive yourself in relation to abundance. Rather than positioning yourself as someone desperately chasing after money, you recognize yourself as someone who naturally attracts it through your very being. This inner journey of transformation doesn't happen overnight, but the initial shifts can be felt immediately. Many who begin this practice report a strange sense of calm about financial matters even before their external circumstances change. It's as if something deep within recognizes that the solution has already been set in motion. If you're resonating with this concept of money as energy that responds to your decrees, write in the comments, "I am an abundance magnet," and let's continue exploring this extraordinary discovery together. What's truly fascinating about Florence's journey is that her revelation wasn't born in a moment of prosperity or comfort. Like many profound discoveries throughout history, it emerged from the depths of personal crisis. The year was 1920, and Florence's life had collapsed around her. She had lost her husband, watched her fortune evaporate, and found herself drowning in debts that seemed mathematically impossible to resolve. Many of us can relate to that crushing sensation, when circumstances pile so high that even breathing feels like an act of defiance. Florence described this period as walking through a tunnel where every light had been extinguished. The stability she had known was gone, replaced by a constant knot of anxiety that accompanied her everywhere. It's often at these rock-bottom moments that our minds become receptive to insights that our comfortable selves would dismiss. The breakdown of Florence's external world created the perfect conditions for a breakthrough in her inner world. When we have nothing left to lose, we become willing to experiment with approaches that our logical minds might otherwise reject. What happened next illustrates a universal pattern in the hero's journey. The darkest hour truly does come before the dawn. In Florence's case, this wasn't just poetic metaphor, but literal reality. During her deepest struggle, when sleep eluded her and worry was her constant companion, she experienced what can only be described as a revelation. This wasn't a gentle nudging of intuition, but rather a blinding clarity that seemed to reorganize her entire understanding of how abundance operates. The veil between visible and invisible realities parted, revealing a mechanism of manifestation so simple yet profound that it would go on to transform thousands of lives throughout the century that followed. The revelation centered on a fundamental misconception most of us carry, that we must beg, plead, or negotiate with the universe for our prosperity. Florence suddenly understood that this approach was precisely backward. The mindset shift was seismic, Instead of approaching abundance as a supplicant hoping for favor, she recognized herself as a divine heir, simply claiming an inheritance that was already hers by spiritual birthright. This paradigm shift represents one of those rare moments of transformation where a single insight can completely rewrite your reality blueprint. Florence realized that the mechanics of manifestation weren't about convincing an external force to grant wishes, but rather about aligning with an already existing flow that was perpetually available. What makes her story so compelling is how quickly this shift in consciousness began producing tangible results in her material world. The same woman who couldn't see a way out of her financial abyss soon found herself watching as seemingly impossible synchronicities began unfolding. Debts resolved, opportunities appeared, and resources manifested from unexpected sources. Her journey from desperation to discovery offers a profound lesson in the hidden blessings of our darkest moments. Sometimes the very circumstances we most wish to escape become the catalysts for our greatest revelations. Had Florence continued in comfort, she might never have uncovered the spiritual mechanics that would go on to liberate so many from financial struggle. If you've ever experienced a moment when difficulty led to discovery, write "darkness to dawn" in the comments below, as we explore how Florence's revelation translated into a practical method anyone can apply. The pivotal moment in Florence's journey happened in the most unexpected way. In the depths of her darkest hour, she experienced what mystics throughout history have called the dark night of the soul, that space where all familiar reference points dissolve, forcing a complete surrender to something greater. It was exactly 3 a.m. when Florence suddenly awoke. But this wasn't the restless awakening of anxiety that had become her nightly companion. This was different, a crystalline clarity unlike anything she had ever experienced. She would later describe this moment as if someone had lit an internal lamp within her spirit, illuminating truths that had always been present but somehow hidden from view. In this moment of profound awakening, Florence realized with startling clarity that she had been approaching the universe entirely wrong. She had been asking, pleading, hoping, positioning herself as a supplicant rather than as a co-creator with divine authority. The revelation wasn't intellectual. It was a full-body knowing that rewrote her entire relationship with abundance. What's particularly fascinating about this watershed moment is the timing. The 3 a.m. hour wasn't random coincidence, but held a specific power that Florence began to study with growing fascination. This pre-dawn hour carries a unique energetic signature that facilitates direct communication between our conscious intentions and the deeper realms of manifestation. At 3 a.m., a remarkable convergence of conditions creates the perfect environment for spiritual transmission. Most of humanity lies asleep, creating a collective stillness rarely found during waking hours. The electromagnetic interference of billions of active human minds temporarily subsides. The veil between dimensions thins considerably. On a personal level, your conscious mind, the analytical, doubting, questioning part of you, naturally lowers its guard during these hours. The mental chatter that normally creates static around your intentions fades to a whisper. The noise of the external world, both literal and figurative, falls away, creating a rare pocket of silence and receptivity. Think of it like trying to have an important conversation in two different environments, one in a crowded, noisy restaurant where you must shout to be heard versus the perfect acoustics of an empty cathedral where even a whisper carries perfectly. The 3 a.m. hour provides that cathedral-like acoustics for your spiritual voice. Modern neuroscience has inadvertently confirmed what Florence discovered through direct experience. During the hours between 3 and 4 a.m., the human brain naturally shifts into what's now measured as theta and delta wave patterns, the exact brainwave states associated with heightened suggestibility, spiritual receptivity, and direct access to the subconscious mind. This is just the beginning of our journey into forgotten wisdom. Subscribe now to discover more transformative practices that can shift your reality from scarcity to divine abundance. I promise to bring you only the most powerful techniques that actually work. What makes this insight so revolutionary is its accessibility. While many spiritual practices require years of disciplined training to achieve, these receptive states, the 3 a.m. hour offers a natural gateway that opens without effort. It's as if the universe has built a daily portal of opportunity into the rhythm of our lives, waiting for those awake enough to utilize it. Florence's discovery wasn't just about timing, though. It was about the remarkable power of words spoken during this receptive window. The phrases we utter at 3 a.m. bypass the usual filtration system of the mind and land directly in the fertile soil of the subconscious, where all manifestation begins. If you've ever experienced a sudden awakening with unusual clarity in the pre-dawn hours, type 3 a.m. clarity in the comments. You may have already encountered this phenomenon without recognizing its significance for your manifestation journey. To truly understand the power of Florence's discovery, we need to explore what happens within us during these sacred pre-dawn hours. Our mind isn't a single unified entity, but rather a complex architecture with different levels of awareness. The subconscious mind functions as a vast, invisible archive where our deepest beliefs about ourselves and the world are meticulously recorded. Every experience, every word spoken to us or by us, every conclusion we've drawn about life. This subconscious realm operates like the root system of a tree, hidden beneath the surface, yet determining what fruits will eventually appear in our visible reality. During normal waking hours, accessing and reprogramming this root system is extraordinarily difficult. Our conscious mind acts as a vigilant gatekeeper, filtering and often rejecting new information that contradicts established beliefs. But at 3 a.m., something remarkable happens. This vigilant gatekeeper temporarily steps aside. The subconscious mind lies open and receptive, like a fertile field perfectly prepared for planting. Words spoken in this state don't merely bounce off the surface of your awareness. They penetrate directly to the root level where your deepest programming resides. Florence discovered this phenomenon through direct experience. The first time she awoke at 3 a.m. and pronounced with unwavering authority, "Divine money flows to me in avalanches of abundance right now, and I receive it with infinite gratitude." She described a sensation unlike anything she had previously known. It wasn't just the words themselves, but the unmistakable feeling that something had activated within her very being, as if a dormant switch had suddenly been flipped on. She described it as feeling a superior force responding immediately to her decree, not with the distant acknowledgement of a prayer sent into the void, but with the immediate confirmation of an order received and already being fulfilled. The veil between speaking and manifesting had grown paper-thin. What makes this experience so profound is that Florence wasn't simply reciting empty words or engaging in wishful thinking. She was utilizing a precise vibrational template that aligned perfectly with the frequency of abundance. Each word in her decree was carefully chosen to create an energetic signature that the universe could not help but respond to. The transformation wasn't merely psychological. It was a fundamental realignment of her entire energy field. Where before there had been constriction and fear around money, now there was expansion and expectancy. This energetic shift began rippling outward, rearranging circumstances and opportunities in the physical world to match her new internal programming. This revelation challenges our conventional understanding of cause and effect. We've been taught that external conditions create our internal states, that we feel abundant when we have money, confident when we have success. Florence's discovery inverted this equation completely, revealing that our internal states actually precede and create our external conditions. By speaking with authority during this receptive window, Florence wasn't just affirming a nice idea. She was literally rewiring the operating system through which she experienced reality. And the beauty of this approach is its universality. It doesn't require special talents or years of spiritual training to implement. If you're intrigued by this hidden mechanism of manifestation and plan to experiment with the 3 a.m. decree yourself, type "Divine Flow Activated" in the comments as we explore exactly how Florence's initial experience translated into tangible results. The artistry in Florence's approach reveals itself in the precise language she chose. This wasn't a meek petition whispered into the void, "I hope money comes," or "Please help me with my finances," which positions you as a beggar awaiting charity. Instead, her decree was a command spoken with divine authority. "It flows to me right now." This distinction represents a fundamental paradigm shift in manifestation. Most spiritual approaches place us in the position of supplicants, hoping an external force might grant our wishes if we're deserving enough. Florence recognized this as a profound misunderstanding of our relationship with abundance. In her revelation, she saw that we aren't meant to beg for what already belongs to us by divine birthright. The language of flowing rather than coming or arriving is particularly significant. It acknowledges abundance as an ever-present stream that already exists, not something that needs to be created from nothing. The phrase "right now" anchors this flow firmly in the present moment, refusing to postpone abundance to some future date when you might finally deserve it. With this powerful reframing, Florence set a completely different energy signature in motion. Rather than broadcasting the frequency of lack and need, she was transmitting the confident signal of someone already standing in the stream of prosperity, simply acknowledging what was already occurring. The universe's response was swift and unmistakable. Within days of beginning her 3 a.m. practice, Florence experienced what can only be described as a cascade of impossible synchronicities. An old debt that she had long abandoned hope of recovering was suddenly paid in full without her even requesting it. An editor contacted her about a manuscript she had literally forgotten in a drawer, expressing interest in publishing it immediately. A former student whom she hadn't heard from in years reached out to re-engage her services. These weren't vague coincidences or stretches of imagination. They were precise, tangible manifestations that directly addressed her financial needs in ways she couldn't have orchestrated through conventional means. If this perspective on gratitude as a creative force rather than just a response resonates with your spirit, type "grateful in advance" in the comments as we explore how Florence's students applied this revolutionary decree in times of extreme financial crisis. One of Florence's most profound insights came in a simple but revolutionary statement. The universe doesn't respond to need, it responds to authority. This single sentence unlocks a mystery that has confounded spiritual seekers for generations. Why some prayers seem to go unanswered despite desperate sincerity, while others manifest with remarkable speed. The paradox lies in our misunderstanding of spiritual influence. Most approaches to manifestation position us as needy supplicants, emphasizing our lack and hoping that the intensity of our desire will somehow convince the universe to grant our wishes. Florence recognized that this approach actually repels prosperity rather than attracting it. Need broadcasts a frequency of absence, and the universe simply echoes back that same frequency as continued lack. But what exactly does Florence mean by authority? This isn't about shouting commands, making demands, or approaching the universe with arrogance. The authority she describes emerges from a profound inner knowing, the serene confidence of someone who recognizes that what they're claiming already belongs to them by divine right. It's the quiet certainty of an heir signing for an inheritance rather than the desperate pleading of someone begging for charity. This authority comes from remembering your true identity rather than trying to become something you're not. It's recognizing that abundance is your natural state, your spiritual birthright, not a foreign condition you need to struggle toward. When you decree from this consciousness, there's no strain or force in your voice, only the calm assurance of someone stating what is already true on the deepest level of reality. Think of the difference between how a child might beg for something versus how a homeowner might simply turn on a faucet, expecting water to flow. One approach is charged with doubt and anxiety. The other carries the quiet confidence of someone utilizing a system they know will work. Florence taught her students to approach abundance with the same matter-of-fact certainty they brought to turning on a light switch. Now, I want to go even deeper into what distinguishes Florence's decree from ordinary affirmations or manifestation statements. While many popular approaches to abundance offer vague declarations like, "I am prosperous," or wishful statements like, "I want wealth," Florence's formula establishes a comprehensive vibrational template that leaves nothing to chance. Her decree meticulously addresses 4 critical dimensions that most manifestation practices overlook. It establishes quantity, avalanches of abundance, movement, flows, timing, right now, and attitude with infinite gratitude. This precision functions like a complete set of coordinates that allows the universe to deliver exactly what you've requested without ambiguity. Think of it like placing an order in a restaurant. Saying, "I'd like some food," leaves too much to interpretation, likely resulting in something that doesn't satisfy. But specifying exactly what you want, how it should be prepared, when you need it, and expressing appreciation in advance creates a complete instruction that can be fulfilled with precision. The vibration of Florence's decree operates at a significantly higher frequency than conventional affirmations because it engages multiple dimensions of consciousness simultaneously. It's not just a mental exercise, but a full-spectrum energetic template that aligns your entire being, mind, emotion, and spirit with the frequency of divine abundance. If this distinction between speaking from need versus speaking with divine authority resonates with you, type "speaking with authority" in the comments as we explore how Florence taught her students to cultivate this powerful consciousness. A key revelation in Florence's teaching centers on the fundamental nature of our relationship with abundance. Most spiritual approaches position us as humble petitioners, hoping that some external force will evaluate our worthiness and decide whether to grant our request. This paradigm creates an inherent power imbalance that keeps us perpetually dependent and uncertain. Florence's decree completely rewrites this relationship. Notice that nowhere in her powerful phrase does she ask the universe to consider if she deserves abundance or to evaluate her worthiness. There's no pleading, no promising to be good enough, no bargaining. Instead, the decree simply declares what is already true on the spiritual plane, that divine money flows to you now in avalanches of abundance. This distinction represents nothing less than a complete identity shift. It's the difference between approaching life as a beggar, hat in hand, hoping for scraps from the universe's table, versus standing tall as a divine heir, claiming your rightful inheritance. One posture emanates the frequency of lack and unworthiness. The other broadcasts the confident signal of someone who recognizes their birthright. The transformation in consciousness this creates cannot be overstated. When you decree from the identity of heir rather than beggar, your entire energetic signature shifts. Your nervous system relaxes from the tension of uncertainty into the calm assurance of knowing. Your thoughts naturally align with abundance rather than scarcity. Your decisions come from confidence rather than fear. This internal shift becomes the template that your external reality gradually reorganizes to match. Florence discovered that the 3 a.m. hour creates a unique opportunity to imprint this new identity at the deepest levels of consciousness. During these sacred pre-dawn moments, repeating her decree isn't just positive thinking or wishful affirmation. It's literally opening a direct channel to divine supply when the veil between dimensions is at its thinnest. The imagery she used to describe this process reveals its power. She taught that each word spoken at this hour becomes an order written in fire on the invisible substance of reality. This isn't poetic metaphor, but a description of an actual spiritual mechanism. Just as fire permanently transforms whatever it touches, your words at 3 a.m. indelibly imprint themselves on the malleable substance from which all physical manifestation emerges. This understanding transforms our relationship with language itself. Words aren't simply sounds we use to communicate. They're creative instruments that literally program the field of possibilities that surrounds us. When spoken with the authority of divine inheritance during this receptive window, they become commands that the universe cannot help but fulfill. Think about how differently you might approach this practice, knowing that your words aren't simply disappearing into the air, but are being recorded with perfect fidelity in the cosmic ledger that determines your experience. Each syllable carries creative power beyond what most of us have been taught to recognize. The journey of reclaiming your divine inheritance begins with this fundamental shift in how you speak to the universe, not as a desperate supplicant hoping for favor, but as a conscious co-creator remembering your true identity. If this perspective resonates as a deeper truth you've always sensed but perhaps forgotten, type "reclaiming my inheritance" in the comments as we explore how to prepare your consciousness for this powerful practice. Now, I want to go even deeper into what separates those who successfully manifest abundance from those who continue struggling despite using similar words or techniques. Florence discovered that it's not enough to simply wait passively for prosperity or occasionally wish for better circumstances. The transformation requires a specific approach to speaking your truth into existence, one that combines precision, unshakable faith, and genuine gratitude. What Florence observed across thousands of case studies was a profound energetic principle. Money doesn't respond to desperation, anxiety, or neediness. These emotional frequencies actually repel abundance rather than attracting it. Instead, prosperity flows naturally toward the certainty and calm assurance of someone who genuinely recognizes themselves as a child of the infinite, an authorized representative of unlimited supply. This revelation transforms our understanding of spiritual influence. It's not the volume of your prayers or the intensity of your desire that determines what manifests, but rather the vibrational quality of your consciousness as you speak. When you decree from a place of inner certainty rather than outer need, you create an energetic signature that the universe immediately recognizes and responds to. Florence's approach wasn't about creating temporary psychological comfort through positive thinking. She was revealing a precise spiritual technology, a methodology for aligning your entire being with the frequency of abundance. This alignment doesn't happen through casual repetition of words, but through what she called spiritual dramatization. This extraordinary concept represents one of Florence's most revolutionary contributions to our understanding of manifestation. Spiritual dramatization isn't about pretending or make-believe. It's a conscious act of embodying the reality you're decreeing before it appears in tangible form. It's living from the consciousness of already having received what you've declared, rather than waiting for external evidence to change your internal state. Think of it like a method actor who doesn't simply recite lines, but fully inhabits the character they're portraying. Their body chemistry actually changes as they take on the identity, posture, and emotional patterns of the role. In the same way, spiritual dramatization involves stepping fully into the identity of someone for whom abundance flows naturally and effortlessly. Florence taught her students to notice how differently they would walk, talk, breathe, and make decisions if they truly believed that divine supply was already theirs in unlimited measure. Would your shoulders be tense or relaxed? Would your breathing be shallow or deep? Would your decisions come from fear of lack or confidence in provision? These subtle shifts in your physical and emotional state aren't superficial. They're powerful signals that communicate directly with the field of infinite possibilities. This practice creates a profound integrity between your words and your being. Instead of creating internal contradiction by saying abundance flows to me, while simultaneously carrying the bodily tension of someone expecting scarcity, you bring your entire presence into harmony with what you're decreeing. This alignment amplifies the signal you're broadcasting to the universe, creating a clear, consistent frequency that can be precisely matched. If you recognize how your own body and emotional state might be broadcasting mixed signals about abundance, type "aligning my being" in the comments as we explore the practical steps Florence taught her students to prepare for the powerful 3 a.m. decree. One of the most critical insights Florence discovered in her decades of working with students reveals a common pitfall that prevents most manifestation practices from bearing fruit. She observed how people would faithfully repeat abundance affirmations, or even her precise decree, yet simultaneously maintain a vibration of lack that completely neutralized their words. Picture someone standing before a mirror, declaring, "I am wealthy and prosperous," while their shoulders are hunched with financial worry, their breathing shallow with anxiety, and their eyes darting nervously to the stack of unpaid bills on their desk. This profound contradiction between what the mouth speaks and what the body-mind believes creates a mixed signal that the universe cannot clearly respond to. Florence understood a fundamental truth that quantum physics now confirms. The universe doesn't just register the literal content of your words, but responds primarily to the energetic signature that accompanies them. This vibrational quality emerges from your entire being. Your thoughts, emotions, physical state, and beliefs all combining to create a specific frequency that the creative forces recognize and match. When you decree abundance while simultaneously broadcasting the frequency of scarcity through your nervous system, it's like pressing the accelerator and brake pedals of your car at the same time. No matter how powerfully you accelerate, the braking force prevents forward movement. This inner contradiction explains why so many sincere spiritual seekers remain stuck despite faithfully practicing affirmations or visualizations for years. Florence's solution to this dilemma was revolutionary in its simplicity, yet profound in its impact. She taught her students to act as if they already possessed the abundance they were decreeing. However, she made a crucial distinction that separates her approach from superficial techniques of positive thinking. This wasn't about pretending or engaging in self-deception. As she explained, pretending is empty theater, embodying is deep alignment. Pretending involves a conscious mind that knows it's fabricating an experience, creating an underlying dissonance that the universe instantly detects. Embodying, by contrast, involves a whole being alignment with the truth of abundance that already exists in the spiritual realm. This subtle but critical difference transforms the practice from wishful thinking into spiritual technology. When you embody abundance, you're not creating a fictional experience. You're aligning with a higher reality that already exists, beyond the temporary appearance of lack. You're bringing your physical, emotional, and mental states into harmony with what you know to be true at the soul level. The journey of embodiment begins with recognizing how differently you would move through the world if you truly knew, not hoped or wished, but knew with absolute certainty that divine supply was unlimited and already yours by spiritual inheritance. How would your posture change? How would your breathing deepen? How would your facial expression soften? How would your decision-making transform? This embodied approach creates a profound integrity between your inner and outer worlds. Instead of speaking one truth while living another, you bring your entire being into coherent alignment with the abundance you're decreeing. This alignment amplifies your vibrational signal, creating a clear, powerful frequency that the universe can precisely match in your material experience. If you're beginning to recognize how your own physical and emotional states might be contradicting your conscious intentions around abundance, type "embodying abundance" in the comments as we explore how to prepare for the powerful 3 a.m. practice that can completely transform your financial reality. Florence's concept of spiritual dramatization takes us beyond the realm of simple visualization into a much more immersive practice. This approach isn't just about seeing yourself with abundance. It's about becoming the embodiment of someone who already lives in that reality. Every aspect of your being becomes aligned with the prosperity you're decreeing. Think of it like a master actor preparing for a role. They don't simply memorize lines. They study how their character walks, breathes, makes decisions, and responds to the world. They adjust their posture, their tone of voice, even the subtle micro-expressions that reveal inner states. Eventually, they aren't playing the role. They've become the role on a physiological level. Spiritual dramatization works on this same principle. Florence taught her students to notice every detail of how a person who lives in divine abundance might move through the world. How would they enter a room? How would they make decisions about resources? Would they constantly check their bank balance with anxiety? Or would they move with the quiet confidence of someone who knows their supply is guaranteed? What makes this practice so transformative is that it engages your entire nervous system in the manifestation process. Modern neuroscience has confirmed what Florence intuited, that our bodies don't distinguish between vividly imagined experiences and physical reality. When you consistently embody the state of already possessing abundance, your brain begins producing the same neurochemicals and neural pathways as if that abundance were physically present. This isn't self-deception. It's conscious alignment with a higher order of reality. You're not pretending to be someone you're not. You're remembering who you truly are beneath the temporary appearance of limitation. Each time you walk, speak, and breathe as someone connected to infinite supply, you're creating new neural pathways that make this state increasingly natural and accessible. The revelation in Florence's teaching is that manifesting isn't something you do occasionally. It's something you become. Your entire life transforms into a living decree, with every gesture and decision reinforcing the consciousness of abundance that you're establishing in the 3 a.m. practice. Now, I want to go even deeper into what Florence discovered about consistency and momentum in this process. She observed that many spiritual seekers approach manifestation like occasional visitors rather than permanent residents, doing practices sporadically when motivation strikes or desperation peaks, then returning to habitual patterns of lack consciousness. Florence insisted that transformation requires daily commitment to monitoring and redirecting your thought patterns. She developed a revolutionary practice where students would dedicate time each day to literally writing down the negative financial phrases they caught themselves thinking or saying. They would then physically cross these statements out, a powerful symbolic act of cancellation, and replace them with positive decrees spoken aloud with authority. This practice creates a powerful interruption in habitual thought patterns that have been running on autopilot for decades. By bringing unconscious programming into conscious awareness, then deliberately replacing it with new instructions, you're essentially rewriting the operating system through which you experience reality. If you've noticed how your own thought patterns around money tend to run on autopilot throughout the day, type conscious reprogramming in the comments as we explore the exact technique Florence taught for preparing your consciousness for the powerful 3 a.m. decree. As Florence's method gained recognition, she began to observe something extraordinary happening when individuals who had mastered the basic practice came together. For advanced practitioners who had already established their individual connection with divine supply, Florence revealed an amplification technique that created what she called exponential manifestation. When a group of spiritually aligned individuals gathered to decree abundance simultaneously, whether in the same physical location or connected in intention from different places, something remarkable occurred. The power didn't merely add together, it multiplied exponentially. Florence described this phenomenon as similar to lighting many candles in a single room. The first candle breaks the darkness, but each additional flame doesn't just contribute its individual light. The entire space becomes disproportionately brighter with each new source. This collective decree creates what modern physicists might call a coherent field, a synchronized vibration, where individual consciousness waves align to form a single, powerful amplitude that can reshape material reality with unprecedented speed and precision. It's as if separate voices join to create a harmonic frequency that penetrates dimensional barriers more effectively than any solo practitioner could achieve. Florence documented numerous instances where groups facing collective financial challenges, from small business partnerships to entire communities during economic downturns, created remarkable turnarounds through synchronized 3 a.m. practice. One notable case involved a neighborhood in New York facing widespread foreclosures during economic hardship. 7 residents began meeting weekly to practice collective decree, synchronizing their 3 a.m. sessions even when physically separate. Within 3 months, a series of unexpected developments transformed their situation. A previously abandoned renovation project resumed, bringing jobs to local residents. A banking error discovered in the community's favor resulted in significant mortgage adjustments. And an unexpected grant provided funds for infrastructure improvements that increased property values throughout the area. What Florence observed was that collective consciousness creates a resonance chamber where individual intentions amplify each other, accelerating the manifestation process beyond what most people believe possible. This discovery foreshadowed what quantum field theory now suggests, that consciousness itself may be a field phenomenon rather than an individual experience, capable of creating coherent patterns that influence physical reality when properly aligned. Now, I want to go even deeper into the complete formula that Florence synthesized from her decades of working with thousands of students. After observing countless successes and occasional failures, she distilled the essence of effective manifestation into a simple but profound equation. Clear word plus unshakable faith plus surrender to divine design, inevitable abundance. The clear word represents the precise decree we've explored, language that establishes exact coordinates for manifestation without ambiguity or contradiction. Unshakable faith refers not to blind belief, but to the embodied certainty that comes from recognizing your true identity as a divine heir. And surrender to divine design acknowledges that while you specify what you desire, you release attachment to exactly how it arrives, allowing universal intelligence to orchestrate perfect fulfillment beyond your limited imagination. When these three elements align in consciousness, abundance becomes not just possible, but inevitable, as certain as a seed growing when planted in fertile soil with proper conditions. The only variable is timing, which depends on the clarity of your signal and the density of contrary programming being dissolved. If this integrated approach to manifestation resonates with your intuition about how reality actually works, type divine equation in the comments as we explore how to prepare for your first 3 a.m. session tonight. As we come to this moment of revelation together, I want you to truly feel the power of what Florence discovered nearly a century ago, a divine technology that remains as potent today as it was then. The 3 a.m. decree isn't just another manifestation technique. It's a remembrance of who you truly are and the abundance that has always been your birthright. Tonight, as the world sleeps and that sacred hour approaches, you have an opportunity to begin your own journey of transformation. Place your hand on your heart, just as we practiced, and with the quiet authority of someone who knows their true identity, speak these words. Divine money flows to me in avalanches of abundance right now, and I receive it with infinite gratitude. Feel the vibration of each word resonating through your being, not as a hope or a wish, but as a truth you're simply acknowledging. This isn't about forcing change through willpower. It's about aligning with a divine order that has always existed. If our exploration today has awakened something within you, a recognition of your own divine inheritance, I'd love to continue this journey together. Subscribe to this channel for more hidden wisdom that can transform not just your financial reality, but every dimension of your life experience. When you're ready to take this next step, type Divine Inheritance Activated in the comments below. I read every comment personally, and there's something powerful about declaring your intention in a community of like-minded seekers. If this message has brought value to your journey today, leaving a like creates a beautiful ripple effect that helps others discover these forgotten truths as well. And for those ready to go even deeper into Florence's wisdom, I've created a special video right here exploring her teachings on healing generational patterns of lack. Click and join me there as we continue. Unveiling the extraordinary spiritual technology she left as her legacy to us all. Until we meet again, remember, you were never meant to beg for prosperity. You were born to command it with the quiet authority of someone who knows exactly who they are.